Hi, and welcome to Homebased Business. I'm Carl Douglas. I'm your host. And I got to tell you here, we have a subject that you guys have been bugging me basically to cover. So I want to make sure I got an expert in this field. Okay. So we're going to be talking about, do you know your why? Do anybody know their why? Why were we born? I have a son that says, I wasn't asked to be born. Can you imagine that? But I would take $1 for it. No, I'm just playing. I wouldn't take $1 for him. But he definitely made me proud. But we have an expert here on the call, on the line with us. You can see him live. And his name is DJ. DJ is an international marketer and speaker. DJ, are you there?
I sure am. How are you today?
You know what? I'm in a good mood today. I want to make sure that everybody understands you're a professional here. And if you guys go out and get your piece of paper and pen or your notepad or whatever, and you want to take notes because the stuff we're going to be covering is going to be life-changing for anyone who's listening. So, DJ, let's talk about that, okay?
Absolutely.
Why do you think you need to know your why? Why is it so critical to know that?
Well, there's actually a lot of reasons, man. I'll tell you, in business, the greatest thing about being self-employed is you can do whatever you want, whenever you want, right? But the worst thing about being self-employed is you can do whatever you want. And sometimes you can become too cool of a boss a little bit too soon. And so one of the things in business is you're going to have what we call the emotional roller coaster. And there's a lot of distractions. There's a lot of shiny objects. You're going to have some great days. You're going to have some not so great days. And one of the biggest reasons why people succeed versus not succeed when they have a business is they keep that motivation, which is that why, on the forefront of their mind. And it's not just a materialistic thing. It's got to be deep. It's got to be emotional, where it grabs you from the heart, where you look at it every single day. The minute you wake up, the minute you go to bed, and everywhere in between, it's got to be, why are you making this next call? Why are you prospecting that next individual? Why are you doing that next follow-up? It's not to make that next dollar or that next $1,000 or $10,000. It's the result from making that money is the true underlining reason why people do what they do.
A lot of people are sitting there like I was. I'm trying to think like them. It has to be bigger than me, right? It has to be bigger than them to order to make sure that they stay hungry. Am I correct?
Absolutely. You're 100% correct. It can't just be about you, because we're so small compared to the universe, and we have so much to give, and it's got to be much greater than going after what you want. It's really going after what other people want. And then the more people naturally you help get what they want in life, we've heard this a million times, you automatically get what you want.
I love it. I love it. A lot of people at the same time are sitting there going, you know what? I didn't know I was going to be unemployed. I didn't know I had to be sitting in an unemployment line. I have to feed my kids. I know it takes money to get there, but my why is bigger than me because I have children. Okay. Mm-hmm. And they need to eat. So the minute the government announced that we had to have, they were going to give us a stimulus package, it was almost like a miracle. But how long is that going to last, right?
Till the end of the month.
That's right. That's right. And then they're hungry again. So I want to stop here. I want to backtrack here, and I want them to hear your story. Okay. I want them to hear your journey. Okay. So when did your home-based business journey begin? Take us back and talk about the struggles and all that, and why failure was not an option.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the question. So I actually grew up very humble beginnings. I grew up in a single parent home. My father passed away a month before my 8th birthday in a tragic plane crash. And that day actually changed me going forward, because I realized life is short, nothing's guaranteed, and you got to live every day like it's your last. And I grew up as far more greater than my years. And I was the kid that might have been in 10th grade, but hung out with people that graduated. I was always hanging out with the older people just because I thought differently. That changed me forever. And in school, I was not the guy that got the best grades. I wasn't the guy that got the worst grades. School never motivated me, never kept my attention. Yes. I would I would read in school and forget what I read by the time I got to the end of the sentence. I had a terrible comprehension. I was that kid just daydreaming in school. And when I turned 18, just like a lot of us, had to make a decision. What do we do when we grow up? Do we go to college? Do we get a job? And college wasn't for me. And so I didn't go. And getting a job, I realized at 18 without a degree, you're not going to get the biggest paying jobs out there. And so I actually moved from the Midwest down to Arizona, chasing that what we call American dream. And I got introduced to network marketing by some of my roommates that went down to a meeting, but they introduced me to a presentation. They weren't the presentation. They introduced me to it and introduced me to some extremely successful people. And I got excited. And I don't remember everything about the meeting. I didn't really understand what we sold and the compensation plan. What I remembered most, Carl, was the excitement, the culture, the community, but the success stories of average people making above average income, and you get paid what you're worth, which could be a double-edged sword. It could be good, it could be bad, but you had the ability to go out and chase your dreams, and that's what got me, and I just fell in love with it, and I was blessed to get introduced to one of the top 5 money earners at the time of that company. He did not need me. I needed him.
Right.
And, he always taught me you work where you're deserved, not needed, which is completely opposite. When we go to school and you struggle, they give you extra help, right? And it was completely different in the business world, as you had to earn the rights to get people's attention that were going to help you get to that next level. But I just stayed super humble, super coachable. And I did exactly what my mentors told me to do, because I looked at it this way. For every dollar I made, they made a dime off of my efforts. And they needed to make a lot of dimes, and I needed to make a lot of dollars. So for the first time ever, I was a part of an industry where the more they taught you how to be successful, we all win at the same time. You can't get to the top of the mountain by yourself, right? And I loved that industry. I loved that concept. I got the chills just thinking about it. And that's what it's all about. It's people helping people. And it was not easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it, right? And it sounds easy, but the concept and the skills and the daily method of operation of what we do is incredibly simple. But the mind games that we play with each other, with ourselves and each other, quite frankly, are the biggest struggles and obstacles, because a lot of people ultimately really care about what other people say about them or even think about them. And I just learned at a really young age is that, my mentor said, you become who you hang out with. Your income's an average of your 5-person, your circle of your top 5.
Yes.
And he said, if you got to find people in life that have what you want, do what they do, and you can get what they have. But if you take advice from people that don't have what you want, you're going to get what they have. And everybody's got that, connection in their circle, whether it's a friend or family member that's always negative, always skeptical, the Debbie Downer. Sorry, my name's Debbie, but the downers in the world. And at the end of the day, one key thing that I remember when I was just getting started is that you have to be careful on who you take advice from. And if they're giving you financial advice, you got to ask them and yourself is, what's their net worth? How much time freedom do they have? How many people have they financially impacted in their life? And if it's not a positive answer, why the heck are you listening to them? Because they can't give you marriage advice if they've been divorced 6 times, right? They can't give you financial advice if they've never made millions, and they can't give you health advice if they're tremendously overweight. And so success leaves clues.
Yes. Successful people leave clues, that's for sure. So whoever you're following is definitely the key to saving money and time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, learning the skill. I definitely agree on everything you're saying there. Folks, I'm sure you guys are getting this. If you didn't get all of it, rewind it, go back. You will see some more information. One of the things, you are a trainer. It is obvious that you are a professional trainer, because everything that's oozing out of you is just nuggets among nuggets. It's like a mountain of nuggets just coming down the mountain. Just like the volcano just explode. That's what you're doing right now.
I appreciate it.
No problem, my friend. Listen, everybody has a big breakthrough, okay? when was your biggest breakthrough? You can talk numbers here. You can even mention companies. But tell me, when did you figure this out? When did you figure? I know you got this education from these gurus, we call them, our super mentors. But when did it actually dawn on you where, hey, haha, I got it. I know what I need to do. Tell me about that.
I feel like there's different levels of breakthrough, Carl.
Mm-hmm.
There's not just one particular breakthrough because we're all at different levels, right? When the student's ready, the teacher appears.
Yes.
And so I could tell you there's different levels of breakthrough without question. The very first time my mentor asked me to get on stage and train with him was a breakthrough aha moment in my very first company in my early 20s. I started in this industry when a month before my 19th birthday, and I'm 43 as this is being recorded. So
Well,
I've been doing this for a long time. And so my first breakthrough is when he believed enough in me to represent his entire company. And I've never had people believe in me like that in my entire life. Of course, your mom does, and she pats you on the back, and I love her to death. But outside of that, you've got a teacher here and there that was an imprint on your life growing up. But in the business world, in the real world, that was definitely the first breakthrough I would say I had. Is I remember the stage I was on and the audience. It was a smaller audience, but we were just getting started, and that was definitely a weekend I'll never forget. And then, obviously, there's been greater breakthroughs. I've been on stage with arenas filled, on stage sharing and educating and pouring into people with about 10,000 people in the arena. That was a breakthrough because, it was a different level, right? But those are impressive, probably from the person from the outside looking in. But if I give you the honest breakthrough that really hits me in my heart the most is when somebody goes on stage and shares their success story, and you didn't know that you impacted them the way you did, but they're congratulating you, or in this case myself, with accolades that they couldn't have done it without you pouring into them.
yes.
Those are the breakthroughs when you truly make it. Being on stage is great. Working your butt off and being in the trenches is amazing because what you do behind closed doors gets recognized on the big stage, right? Like the NFL and all the sports, what you do during the week isn't as much fun as game day, but that's when you shine on the game day. But to me, the biggest accolades and the aha moments is when people go on stage, you don't know what's going to come out of their mouth, and you're in their success story speech.
Beautiful. What you just said is true. I have children, okay? And actually, I had three, but altogether, I would say six. Me and my wife, for 35 years, we raised them. And I poured everything I can into them. And you can always tell a person by their, like you say, the people that they have trained as well as their own children. Okay. And I have to say that all my kids have degrees, but not only just degrees, but they have the understanding what life is all about, understanding money. Okay. I taught that to them. And I got to say that people can make money. Okay. But let's think about it. But it's not how much you make, but what you keep.
Absolutely.
And that is what one of the lessons I teach, not just my children, but anybody I am mentoring myself. Okay. And also, I know you can go ahead and, because you've been to different companies, it's not about falling in love with a company, but yeah, that's all great, but it's the mission within inside yourself.
Yeah.
Invest in yourself. Understand that if you're out there, you have to learn to what? Market.
Absolutely. I mean, if you think about it, Carl, I mean, there's success stories and failure stories in every company, right? I mean, we all have the same comp plan. We all have the same product, service, opportunity. We have the same executives, same owners. We have the same training systems, right? The same everything. Why do some people go out and make six figures a month, and then some people can't rub two nickels together? And
Yes.
It comes down to belief and desire and commitment. Those are probably the three biggest things. But to your point is, I have been in my career, I have been in 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm in my fifth company, and 2 of the 5 are not by choice of where I left. Those companies went out of business. And
Yes.
so when I joined my first company, I didn't join because of the company. I joined because of the person that I was able to work with. They inspired me, but I fell in love with the industry as a whole. I love the industry because you can literally, as long as you have the desire, the heart, the coachability, the stick-to-itiveness, the consistent effort. See, we can teach you skill set, but we can't teach what's in here, right? In your heart. We can't teach that desire, that work ethic. And that's what I love about it is I believe it's the last true free enterprise that we have around the world where you can go for under $500 and go create whatever dream life that you want. And that's what network marketing and home-based businesses and direct sales, whatever you want to call it these days, that's what this can do for you. I remember one of the first trainings I went to with my mentor, and he had this big blank whiteboard, and he drew a big circle, and he said, we're all born with this amazing dream space, right? Exotic cars and picture perfect weddings and traveling the best vacations around the world and the white picket fence and the big homes with the negative edge pools and the 4-car garages and, the private planes and the yachts and all these different things. And as kids, we all think about it. You're lying if you don't, right? Yes. And then all of a sudden, when you get to the age of an adult, you start realizing what your boss decides what you're worth, and then you accepted that value of yourself. Yes. And then the huge dream space, all of a sudden you got this little income space, and you start rationalizing in your head, well, you don't need the big yacht. You can just get a little ski boat, and who needs the exotic car when you can get a Kia? And why do you need the big mansion with a 5-car garage? You can't even drive them at the same time. Let's just get a 2-car garage, and we don't need to have an estate. We can just live in a subdivision and hang out with the neighbors and all these different things. And my mentor just said, you know what, that's BS. You have to increase your income space to fulfill your dream space. And most people don't do that. They just look almost they're like a leaf in the wind. They blow whatever direction it is that they decide to go based upon the decisions that were made for them. And I was just taught either you stand for something or you fall for anything, and you got to be a rock and just go after it because they build those homes for somebody.
Yes.
For somebody. They build the exotic cars for somebody, right? They have the exotic destinations for somebody. They're not vacant. There's no vacancies. There's not any vacancies in them. So why not you? And that's just, I believe that. I fell in love with that concept, and that's what our industry can do for people.
You know what? You're totally right. I'd say that it's not your fault or my fault that I was born poor, but it's your fault if you die poor.
100%.
And a lot of people are not following their dreams. Dreams become fantasy if you don't act upon those. Okay. And if you have a dream of, like you said, owning these exotic cars or traveling and going places only that you see on TV, why not you? How come you can't go? What is your excuse? Well, I'm going to tell you what your excuse is. It's just a well thought out lie that you told yourself.
Absolutely.
Period. Go in the corner and cry about it if you want to. But guess what? They hire people to go in the corner and cry. They call them, think about it, complainers.
Right. Yeah.
Is that you? Is that your life? Folks, information you guys get in here today, like I said, rewind it, okay, and listen to it again. And take action. Because, we're dying at early ages these days, okay? You're looking at the secret sauce to your success right now. You're hearing it over and over again. It's all about the mindset. You hang around those type of people, you're going to have what those type of people have. Okay. Listen, DJ, this is what I want to do. I want you to talk to those people who are sitting there on the fence saying, I heard this before. We can't bring everybody to the water and tell them to drink it. We can bring them to the water, but a lot of them won't drink it, right? So let's talk to the people who made it to the water, looking down there, they can see it, and they're thirsty. But who and why they're not acting upon it? Tell me what you think. What we need to tell them right at this moment.
Well, the reason why they don't take action, and this is just my humble opinion, is that they have limited beliefs self-doubts, and insecurity, whether you as a viewer can do this. And it's not your fault. Unfortunately, it's not your fault. Unfortunately, it's your upbringing, because our entire life, by the time I believe we were about, 10 years old or 4 years old, I forget the name or the time, but the amount of time that you've heard stop, no, put this down, is over 2,000 times by the time I think you're like 2 or 3 years old, some crazy number. Yes. And that's when the negative belief and self-doubt and insecurities started, right? And then as we grow up, you sometimes maybe you were brought up in a family that you didn't feel welcomed. Maybe you were put down, criticized, beaten, whatever the case may be. You were told your entire life you weren't good enough, or you believed, or you told yourself that you weren't good enough. Maybe you wanted to try out for the sports team, but you rationalized in your head that it wasn't for you, or what would my friends think if I don't fit, don't make it, or what if I try out for the baseball team and the ball goes through my legs, versus thinking the positive. Well, what if you're the best player on the team, or what if you get the ball and you make the last out to win the game? Most people look at the negatives before the positives. Listen,
yes,
people already are successful with or without you. There's people that are making millions of dollars in this profession with or without you. There's people that are paying off credit card debts, making just an extra $500 a month, whether you do or not. Like, the water's already warm. This has been around for 100 years. It's been around forever, and it's going to be around forever. The question is, are you going to keep buying the excuses that you create because you're afraid to take that leap of faith? Or are you going to take action and start creating a new lifestyle for your family and a new name for for your legacy name, the name on the back of the jersey per se, and go take massive action, because it works. It's just a matter of, are you going to work it? And so we already have the systems, we have the tools, we have the training, we have the success. We already know the blueprint. We know what works. And unfortunately, everybody wants the success without going to work, right? And at the end of the day, the only place success comes before work is in the dictionary. And you have to go work, but most people are lazy today, right? We live in such an instant gratification society with social media. We live in that microwave society. And I get it, because when the microwave's on with 3 seconds left, I'm popping it open because I can't wait those extra 3 seconds. But, success takes time. It's like, the farming. You got to plant the seeds. You got to cultivate the land. You got to water it. You got to harvest it. You got to go through the seasons, and you're going to be bad before you're good, but you got to get started to become great. And at the end of the day, you got to find somebody that will take you under their wing and has what you want, and you can do what they do. It's a monkey see, monkey do business. And as long as you apply the learned knowledge and have blind faith, we will get you where you need to go.
Love it. Love it. Listen, DJ, I wish we can stay longer and talk more about these things. Would you like to come back and share some more of your wisdom and knowledge?
It would be an honor, man. I definitely enjoyed the opportunity and the privilege. Obviously your show's got a tremendous following for obvious reasons. You interview from the heart. You've got great intentions. I believe everybody should share this with their network and help you gain more followers to pour more value into them. So I appreciate you having me on your show.
You know what? It's my honor to have your expertise and your experience, and you are all around a good guy. Okay. And I got to tell you, a lot of people I interview, I'm looking for the ones that can give that feeling to my audience. Okay. Because most people move on emotions. Okay. And I can tell you right now, there's some people probably heard your story and they're probably crying when they heard it, because it's them. Okay. What I want to say, I want to allow you, go ahead and give me 4 shout outs, some people that you want to mention.
4 shout outs. Well, first of all, my mentor that I met when I was just before my 19th birthday, who really drove a lot of it into me, Mark Aceta, one of the best guys in marketing, past, present, future. Of course, my mom for giving me a shot to be in this world. I have to throw that in there for sure. I would say Ray Higdon, man, is he the legend of the online marketing, the social media, the branding. He's just such a forward thinker, and his wife, Jessica as well, Higdon. I'd follow those guys all over the place. Eric Warre is dialed in with everything that they've got going on. And I think that's 4 or 5 right there, isn't it? But
it is. Go ahead. Give me another one.
I mean, those are the main people that
Okay.
that pour into me, and that I obviously learn what they teach, do what they teach, and share with my teams what I learned. Because one of the biggest things I can end with is this: be a leader and lead from the front. Go do what you expect your team to do, and you'll have the biggest following and impact that you can possibly have out there.
Beautiful. DJ, international marketing and speaker. Man, what an honor to have you here. Folks, this is Carl Douglas from Homebased Business Review, and we will bring him back because I know it's going to be questions that you guys are going to ask me, and next time we ask, I got a person right here saying, can we talk about taxes? So maybe we can talk about understanding money. Maybe next time. That's a big one right there for anyone that's in the home-based business. It's like, once again, it's not how much you make, but what you can keep. Well, once again, DJ, we're going to conclude the recording right at this moment, and we're going to have you come back. And what a joy you've been. And
Thank you for everything.
Hey, my pleasure. I'm going to say goodbye for right now.